The sun was a warm, golden blanket spread across the shimmering sands. It was a perfect day, a day that felt like a gift, and Mama Cat, with her little kitten trotting happily beside her, had decided to spend it by the sea. They pushed their sturdy bicycle along the sandy path where the tall grasses met the beach. In the bicycle's front basket, a simple woven blanket, a small jar of fresh water, and a few empty containers clinked softly. The little kitten, full of boundless, joyful energy, darted ahead, chasing a pale yellow butterfly that danced and fluttered in the gentle sea breeze. They were here to collect seashells, the kitten's favorite hobby. The kitten had a special glass jar at home, already half full of beautiful spirals, smooth chips of mother of pearl, and tiny, polished pebbles. Mama Cat smiled, her heart full, as she watched her little one play. They walked for a while, the soft waves washing over their paws, cooling them. The kitten pounced and played, finding a perfectly spiraled conch shell and holding it up for Mama to see. But suddenly the kitten stopped, its ears perking up, twitching this way and that. A sound, a faint, high-pitched whistling, drifted over the rhythmic crash of the surf. It wasn't the sound of a seagull, and it wasn't the wind. It was a sound of distress. The kitten looked back at Mama, its wide, innocent eyes full of confusion. Mama Cat listened intently, her kind face growing serious. She pointed down the beach, past a jumble of tall, smooth rocks. "This way," she said softly, and they began to walk quickly, their paws sinking into the wet sand. They rounded the cluster of rocks, and their hearts stopped. There, lying helplessly on the sand, far from the life-giving water, was a baby dolphin. It was small and pale gray. Its skin, which should have been slick and gleaming, now looked dull and dry in the hot sun. It made that whistling sound again, a desperate, lonely cry, and its small tail fin flapped weakly against the sand. The tide was going out, pulling the ocean further and further away, leaving the poor creature stranded. The kitten let out a tiny gasp, its eyes filling with tears. Mama Cat rushed forward, her protective instincts taking over. She gently touched the dolphin's side, and it flinched, its eye rolling in fear. "It's all right, little one," she whispered in a soothing voice. "It's all right. We are here to help." The kitten, seeing the creature's pain, began to cry softly. Mama Cat knew they had no time to waste. She put her shoulder against the dolphin's side and pushed with all her might. It was no use. The dolphin was smooth and heavy, and the sand created a powerful friction that held it fast. She pushed again, her paws digging in, but the dolphin barely moved an inch. "Kitten," she called out, her voice sharp but not unkind. "Run. Run as fast as you can to the grove of trees. Papa is there gathering firewood. Bring him here. Now." The kitten, startled by her urgency, nodded, wiping its tears, and sprinted away, its small legs churning through the sand as fast as it could go. Mama Cat turned back to the dolphin. The sun was hot, beating down relentlessly. She ran to the water's edge, soaking her own apron in the cool surf. She ran back and gently draped the wet cloth over the dolphin's head, shading its eye. She kept patting its skin with the damp cloth, whispering words of comfort. "Hold on," she murmured. "Help is coming." Just then, she heard the sound of heavy footsteps pounding on the sand. Papa Cat was there, strong and dependable, with the kitten running right behind him. He took in the scene at a glance. "We must get it to the water," Mama said, her voice strained with worry. Papa nodded, assessing the situation. He tried to lift it, but it was too awkward, too heavy. "Together," he said. They both pushed side by side, straining with every muscle, their fur matted with sweat and sand, but the sand was their enemy. "Wait," Mama Cat said, her resourceful mind spotting a solution. She ran to the nearby palm trees and pulled down several huge, tough fronds. "We will slide it," she declared. They worked quickly, digging away the sand from under the dolphin's sides and stuffing the thick, waxy leaves beneath it, creating a makeshift sled. The kitten, wanting to help, found a large, discarded coconut shell. The little one ran back and forth, a tiny, determined figure scooping water from the tide pools and pouring it over the dolphin and onto the sand in front of the palm leaves, making the path wet and slick. "Now," Papa Cat shouted, with the palm fronds as a sled and the sand now wet. They gave one final, desperate, coordinated push. Mama, Papa, and even the little kitten pushed with all their combined strength. The dolphin slid. It moved a foot then two. A small wave washed up, licking at its tail, giving them hope. They pushed again, grunting with the effort, moving it closer and closer. Finally, a larger wave rushed in, swirling around their legs and lifting the dolphin. With one last, heroic shove, they pushed the baby dolphin into the deeper water. T floated for a moment, disoriented, and then, with a flick of its powerful tail, it was free. It swam a small circle, breached the surface with a happy chirp that sounded just like "thank you," and then sped off toward the deep blue. Mama, Papa, and the kitten collapsed on the sand, breathing heavily, their hearts pounding with relief and joy. They hugged each other, a happy, exhausted little family. They were catching their breath when a large shadow moved around. A much larger dolphin, followed by another, swam up to the shallows. It was the baby's family. The little dolphin they had rescued swam in happy circles around its mother. The mother dolphin looked directly at the cat family on the beach. It dipped its head in a clear, intelligent gesture of thanks. Then, it turned and slapped its powerful tail on the water surface. A moment later, from the deeper water, a whole school of fish began to swim towards the shore. It was a miracle. They swam right into a large, abandoned fishing net that was snagged on the rocks near the shore, filling it to bursting. It was a gift, a reward, a bounty of shimmering silver fish, more than they had ever seen. Papa Cat waded in and carefully dragged the heavy net to the beach. The family stared in wonder at the generous payment from the sea. "We must celebrate," Mama Cat said, her voice full of warmth. "And we must give thanks for this gift." Papa Cat set to work building fire. He gathered the dried driftwood he had collected earlier and, using two flints, skillfully struck a spark, nursing it into a steady, crackling flame. While he worked, Mama Cat, the excellent cook, went to her bicycle basket. She always came prepared. She pulled out a small wooden cutting board, a sharp knife, a bundle of fragrant green herbs, and two bright yellow ones. She also had 3 large ears of corn and a few sweet potatoes, which she had planned for a simple snack. Now, they would be part of feast. She selected the largest, plumpest fish from the net. She took her knife and, with quick, expert motions, began to scale the fish. The scales flew off in tiny, iridescent specks, glittering in the late afternoon sun. The sound was a rhythmic SHK, SHK, SHK against the backdrop of the waves. She cleaned the fish at the water's edge, then brought it back to her little workstation on the blanket. She sliced the limes in half, the sharp citrus scent bursting into the air, and squeezed the bright juice all over the fish, inside and out. She chopped her herbs and tucked them inside the fish, a perfect stuffing. Papa had arranged several long, green sticks over the fire, creating a perfect rustic grill. Mama Cat laid the seasoned fish onto the sticks. A loud, satisfying sizzle echoed on the beach as the skin touched the heat. She then took the sweet potatoes, wrapped them in large, damp leaves, and tucked them directly into the hot coals at the edge of the fire. She skewered the ears of corn and set them to roast, turning them slowly. The smell was incredible. Wood smoke, zesty lime, roasting corn, and the rich aroma of grilling fish, all mixing with the salty air. She basted the fish with a little oil she'd brought, using a small brush made from the leftover herb stems. She carefully flipped the fish. The skin was now a perfect golden brown, crispy, and bubbling. Finally, it was ready. Papa Cat used 2 large leaves to lift the perfectly cooked fish from the grill and place it on a large, clean banana leaf that Mama had laid out. He pulled the sweet potatoes from the coals, their skins blackened and bursting, revealing bright orange, steaming flesh inside. The corn was perfectly charred and sweet. The family gathered on their blanket as the sun began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange, pink, and purple. They shared the meal, the fish tender and flaky, the corn sweet and smoky, and the sweet potatoes soft as butter. It was the most delicious meal they had ever tasted, a meal earned through kindness and teamwork.